This is Jim McKelvey. He blows glass in St. Louis. The faucet in his hand sells for $2,000. In the next minute, a phone call is going to kill that sale. The company born from that dead call is Square, the little white reader that turned a phone into a cash register. It grew so fast that the largest company on earth decided to copy it, undercut it, and kill it. This is the story of the startup Amazon tried to kill. A landline rings on the workbench. He answers with the blowpipe still in one hand. A buyer wants the faucet. $2,000 sold. Except the buyer wants to pay with a card.
It's perfect. I want it. How do I pay you? Card. American Express. You take cards, right?
McKelvey looks at the card machine he does not own. The banks would not give him one. No machine, no card, no sale. The system leaves him 4 words.
Cash or check?
You're kidding. Cash or check? Who works like that?
The glass on the pipe has already begun to sag and cool. One man, one furnace, and a sale that died on 4 words. Somewhere in that dead phone call is a company that has not been born yet. He sets the cooling faucet down. It will never be paid for. What he builds instead starts the war. The company that dead phone call will start needs a second founder. To find him, go back 20 years to a small printing shop in St. Louis where McKelvey is the boss. One summer, he hired a teenager who would not stop typing. The kid barely looked up from the screen. The name printed at the top of his time card. The name is Jack Dorsey. The boss and the intern do not know it yet. They will not build anything together for 20 years. Then, a phone call will die over a glass faucet, and one of them will remember the other. Late in 2008, a phone lights up on a bare apartment floor. Jack Dorsey has just been pushed out of the company he co-founded, Twitter. He has time and no title. His first boss is on the line with a problem no bank will solve. 24 of 30 million small businesses in America cannot take a credit card. A one-person shop cannot accept a card. The gatekeepers will not let the little guy in.
Let's fix it so I can get paid.
Dorsey sets the phone down. His answer is 4 words. Meet me in St. Louis. So Dorsey flew to St. Louis. In a few months, they built it. A plastic reader that plugs into a phone. But to move a single dollar, a payments company needs a bank to say yes. This is the bank.
It's a self-powered swiper.
One account.
Well, the
Holding
exposure
money
on
for
that
how many
is,
sellers?
How many go? Right.
10,000 strangers under one roof. No merchant account for any of them. The network has a word for that. Aggregation. It's the one thing the rule book bans by name.
2 founders, 1 word away from no. And the word is not personal. It is on the man's desk in ink.
I'm not the enemy. I underwrite risk I can see. A man who sells 1 faucet a month, I can't price him. By every number on my desk, the answer is no. Bring me a real merchant account for every one of those sellers, and we'll talk. You can't. Nobody cans. That's why it's banned, not because we're cruel.
The rulebook has no word for what they want to build. Here's the part the banks got wrong. These 2 are not going to beat the rule. They are going to invent a category the rulebook has no word for. The banks said the risk could not be held, so Square went and held it a different way. 50,000 tiny sellers, watched in real time, all at once. Every one of them watched, and all of it ran on a little product that, back at the start, almost never got the name it is famous for now. 2010, The product has a working name, Squirrel. A wooden acorn for a reader. He likes it. Then he sees the terminal across the room. The name is already taken. He flips the napkin over. He draws a square. The reader will be a square. The company will be Square. By McKelvey's own telling, the name is an accident of a cafeteria and a rival sign. Squirrel. What could have been? Now the square has a name and a shape. All it has to do is get built and reach somebody's hands. So they build it and they mail it. The finished reader arrives in a stranger's mailbox. No box, no invoice, no cost. Inside, a 1-inch white square. By that afternoon, it is on a food truck's counter. A customer holds out a card. A receipt prints on a phone. The thing the bank said was illegal is now in a stranger's hand on a curb. It came in the mail. It cost nothing. Now watch how fast it spreads. 2011. The map cannot keep up. New sellers are arriving faster than anyone planned for. A hardware business the banks called illegal is now a wildfire. About 100,000 new merchants every month. Visa itself invests. $2 billion a year is already flowing through a 1-inch square. And that is when the giant starts watching. 2012. Before the giant makes its move, Square lands a trophy. The biggest name in coffee puts its cup on the little square.
7,000 stores. Every one of them running the little white square.
My customers won't see it. That's the deal. It disappears into the counter, or there is no deal.
It was built to disappear.
Then congratulations. You just became infrastructure.
This is definitely an epic partnership, certainly for Square, but I think for both companies.
The handshake is a trophy. Trophies are heavy. This one costs tens of millions, and years from now, Square will admit it in writing. But that bill comes due much later. First, the giant they had been trying not to wake finally moves. 2 years after the trophy, 6 in the morning the giant that was watching finally moves. In Seattle, a hand slides a reader out of a box. The logo is Amazon. Beside it, Square's little white square, near identical twins. Then the price tag flips. The giant charges a full point less. The largest retailer on earth just copied the little white square. It did not ask. It undercut. In St. Louis, McKelvey reads it at the furnace.
Amazon had copied our hardware, had undercut our price by 30%, and was offering live customer support.
Then we should be flattered right before we're dead.
He puts the phone down like a man who just heard footsteps behind. Understand who just walked in. Not another startup. The largest company on earth, copying a 1-inch piece of plastic. Every advisor says the same thing. Match the price or die. He did neither. And behind the curtain, the tank was already running low. So they count what is left. No music now. Just the room and the falling line. One outside advisor. One answer.
The largest company on earth just charged a full point under you. I've run the model every way it goes. There's a number where Amazon walks away and a number where you match them. Only one keeps the doors open. You lost about 100 million last year. You raised 340 and you've spent more than half of it. The companies that argue with a number like this are gone. Match the point today. You live to have this fight next quarter.
He knows the chart. He wrote half of it.
Then he knows what it says. Match the price today, or give me the plan that isn't price.
The plan that isn't price is the entire company.
Every number he just said is true.
And we're still not going to do it.
The math on the wall is not wrong. That is what makes the room this quiet.
Jim, I've got a board that reads the same chart he does. I need something to tell them isn't trust the glassblower.
Tell them we're not going to match it.
That's not a plan. That's a mood.
Being scared and being wrong aren't the same thing, Jack. I ran his math at 3 in the morning, too. It still came out no. It's the only plan that doesn't end with us being a worse Amazon. We match their price. We're in a knife fight with a company that doesn't need to win. They can bleed on this until we're dead and never feel it.
And if we hold at 2.75 while they sit at 1.75?
Then some sellers leave, and the ones who stay find out the price was never the product.
The price is the only thing they copied, because it's the only thing they could.
Sarah, if we hold, how many sellers walk?
The loud ones first. The rest of them didn't come for the discount. They stay because on a Saturday with a line out the door, it just works.
We could have matched Amazon's price and fought a war of attrition. But we were a small, unprofitable startup, and Amazon was a large, unprofitable household name.
So what do I tell the board we're doing about the most dangerous company on Earth?
In response to an attack from the most deadly company on the planet, we would do nothing. Precisely nothing.
Nothing written down that gets me fired. Say it again.
Nothing. We build the thing they can't copy in a warehouse full of engineers, and we wait for them to get bored.
If you're wrong, Jim, they won't call it brave. They'll call it slow.
If I'm wrong, they'll be right.
God help me. I believe you.
He goes back to the furnace, alone. He does not cut the price. He does not sell. He builds the one thing Amazon cannot copy piece by piece. Underwriting, software, design, and speed, working only together. He calls it the innovation stack. Alone, each plate is thin. Stacked, they hold. The giant came with a lower price. He answered with something a lower price could not buy. Now, they wait to see who runs out first. October 30th, Halloween. One word on a phone screen. Amazon is killing local register. 14 months after it came to bury him. The giant quits. Then comes the part, almost too good to be true. In McKelvey's own telling, Amazon mails its stranded customers a little white reader to switch to a square reader. The giant came to kill the square. On Halloween, it went home and mailed its own customers the square, but the strangest night is still ahead. Back up a few weeks to early October to see how the strangest night got set up. 6 weeks before his second company goes public, Jack Dorsey walks between two lobbies. He is named permanent chief executive of Twitter. 2 public companies, 1 man. The press starts counting the hours he does not have. He steps into Square, and in a week, a filing will hand the press a knife. October 14th, Square files to go public. A reporter drags a finger down the page. A red pen circles one line.
The terms of the agreement were unprofitable for us.
The trophy from 2012 is now a wound in a public filing. Hold this as context only. The press will not blame it for the price that is coming. But it smells blood, and it starts to write the obituary early. November 6th. Now, the bankers have to price the thing. A banker writes the range Square hopes to sell its shares at, and stops. $11 to $13 a share. Someone does the quick math in the margin. The company raised money privately at $6 billion. The public market is being offered less. The number is falling before the bell has even rung, and the night they set it in ink is worse. This is the night they set it in ink. The bankers have a number. The chief financial officer has to decide whether she signs it. $9.
$9.
$9. I know it's under the range. I also know it's the number the book actually clears tonight.
9 is half of what our own investors paid a year ago.
At 9, you're near $2.9 billion. The full ratchet triggers. Your last round gets free shares to be made whole. Everyone in this building hired at the high mark does that math by morning.
I know exactly who does that math. I hired most of them.
They've already written the headline. First unicorn to die. Push for 11, and if the book breaks tomorrow, that headline is the whole story. Forever.
Or we take the honest number and let the morning argue with it.
Growth is slowing on paper. Your chief executive runs 2 public companies. The market is pricing the doubt, not the business. 9 gets it done.
This was the right time to IPO.
Then we price at 9. And at the bell we find out whether the room out there agrees with you or with the headline.
If the world agrees.
$9. They're going to ring a bell over the number 9 and call it a funeral.
They called us the Black Rectangle's cheaper twin, too. Then Amazon mailed our reader to its own customers.
That was a price. This is what we're worth. In public, cut in half.
I told my kids we built something that matters. Tomorrow a man on a screen gets to decide it's worth half of that before the coffee's cold.
They spent a month writing that I can't hold 2 jobs. That whatever this closes at, it's the price of a man who's already somewhere else.
Are you somewhere else? No. I'm right here. That's the one thing they can't put in the number.
It's what we're worth for one morning, priced by people who need us to be a story before we're allowed to be a company.
So what do we do about it?
The same thing we did about Amazon.
Nothing.
Precisely nothing. We ring the bell, and we let the room out there decide whether the headline was right.
You ever think about the faucet? The $2,000 sale I couldn't take because a card wouldn't go through?
Every time somebody swipes.
I was a small merchant, a glassblower. Still am. I've been told no by better rooms than the New York Stock Exchange.
The 19th, the floor.
First unicorn to die.
A screen waits unopened. SQ, $9. Dorsey stands at the bell. Friar beside him.
This tap rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
The number holds. Then it jumps. The market that mocked the price paid it up within hours. The funeral turned into a first day, up 45%. The number they called a death climbed all afternoon. So which was it, really? Hold both truths at once. Because both are real. A down round is a real markdown. Investors who paid the high mark did lose. And the same afternoon, the public market repriced it up 45%, $9 to $13.07 in one day. So is $9 a failure or a fake out? You decide. But before you do, meet the real man. Everything you just watched was a dramatization of a true thing. Here is the true thing itself. The little square was real. And it is still out there, right now. A coffee cart, a little white square. A stranger holds out a card. A barista taps it. A receipt prints. It is the exact sale the dead phone call could not make. No bank in the room, no terminal that costs thousands. The giant went home. The little square is still on the counter, and the company behind it did not stay little. Here's what gets me about this one. A guy lost a $2,000 sale because a bank wouldn't let him take a card. So he built the card reader himself. And then the largest company on earth looked at that little white square, copied it, undercut it by a full point, and came to bury him. He did nothing. Precisely nothing. And the giant went home. On Halloween, it mailed its own stranded customers a Square reader. Then, the market that called his company the first unicorn to die paid it up 45% in a single afternoon. That company is now called Block. It trades under XYZ. It bought Afterpay. Its Cash App out-earns the entire business it was born from. The little white square isn't even the main event anymore. But it's still on the counter, still blinking, still ready, and the man who built it will tell you he's still just a glassblower. The next story is already being built. This is compounded.